If you're a woman over 40 who has spent a lifetime either on or off a diet, forever starting, stopping and starting again, stay exactly where you are. I've been a women's health coach for 12 years. I've helped thousands of women build bodies and behaviours that they're really bloody proud of. And I'm going to give you the 5 biggest dieting mistakes keeping women stuck. When you've been doing this as long as I have, you start to spot patterns. You see the same mistakes happening time and time and time again. And I guarantee if you struggle to stick to your diet for more than a few weeks or months, you are making at least one of these mistakes. Firstly, I just want to clarify that diet is actually a noun. It's a thing. It's a thing that all living beings need to sustain life. The problem is that culturally, we've turned diet into a verb, a doing word, something that you're either on or off. So already we're in a fairly restrictive mindset with rigid rules and regulations, and it doesn't feel particularly enjoyable. So if we start this video by drawing a firm line and saying we are no longer on a diet, we are going to build a diet that we can stick to for the rest of our life, that makes us feel great, full of energy, with a great mood, recovering well, we're starting on solid ground. So number 1, the biggest mistake that I see women making time and time again with their diet is chronic undereating. Trying to stick to 12, 13, 1400 calories from Monday to Friday. Being good all week, picking, grazing, missing meals, thinking that less is more. In my experience, women who chronically undereat are inevitably then going to binge. This is what I call the weekend wanker mentality. You've been so restrictive all week that the weekend comes around and you treat it like a hen do. And when we zoom out and look at what a weekend is, let's say Friday lunchtime to Sunday night from a food behaviours perspective, that's 7 or 8 meals out of 21 in a week when you're acting like a weekend wanker because you've been too restrictive from Monday to Friday. So one of the first things I ask my clients to do is to start eating more through the week. 3 meals a day. 2 portions of fruit or veg on those plates and 1 portion of protein for 80% of the time. I ask them to make their meals bigger, to pack their plates out, to fill their stomach. Because I guarantee you that sitting down to 3 big satiating meals a day is directly going to correlate with how often you snack, how often you pick at this and graze at that, how often you find yourself in the biscuit tin at 8 p.m. Coming in at number 2 is the focus on calories rather than nutrition. So yes, if the goal includes fat loss, you need to be in a calorie deficit. You need to be eating and drinking less calories than your body's using. If all you're thinking about is calories, you are going to feel like dog shit. Great, you might weigh less. But what about energy? What about mood? What about mental clarity? What about your body's ability to perform and then recover? All that epic shit comes from nourishment. So yes, calories are important, but the source of those calories is also important. It's the difference between simply weighing less and wellness. Number 3 is under-eating protein because you believe that protein is about building muscle. Now that is true to an extent. Protein is the building block that our body needs alongside strength training and rest to build and maintain muscle. But it also keeps us fuller for longer. Women who prioritise protein with their meals snack less. It's one of the most common bits of feedback I get from my coaching clients early doors. Oh my God, I've stopped snacking. Can't believe how full I feel. I've had a packet of biscuits in the cupboard all week. I haven't touched them. Not because they've miraculously gained more willpower, but because they're now satiated. Protein takes longer to digest. In the moment, you probably feel fuller when eating carbs, but an hour later, you're hungry again. That's not the case when you're prioritising protein. Another mistake that women make time and time again is labelling foods as good or bad, having rigid rules around food, using language like cheat, naughty, treat, giving food too much power. There's too much emotion in it. Think about it, girls. If you're labelling food as good or bad, that thought is going to create a feeling. If you eat a food that you deem as bad or naughty or a cheat, you're of course going to feel a level of guilt or shame. Now, what happens in the shame spiral? It usually triggers all or nothing thinking, which then leads us to either restrict, to punish, to make up for it, or to tell ourselves we've failed, we might as well start again on Monday, fuck it, eat everything in sight. No food is good or bad in moderation. Some food is more nutritionally dense. Some food is tastier. We have to stop labelling foods as either good or bad. We have to stop giving ourselves unnecessary rules and rigid regulations because we want this to feel easy. Of course, it is human nature. If you tell yourself you're not allowed something, you're going to want it even more. Which leads me on to mistake number 5. That's always thinking that you need to take away, stop, remove and restrict. Think about what you can add in. Can you add in more structure, meal timings, more fruit, more veg, more protein, more high volume, low calorie foods to bulk your plate out and fill up your tummy? Can you add in a walk at lunchtime? Can you add in an extra half an hour to your bedtime routine so you're getting more sleep? See how different that feels to I must stop, I must take away, I am not allowed. You do not need to go away and implement all of this immediately. I've given you 5. Why don't you pick 1 or 2 things that you can make progress with? Can you look to include more protein and pay attention to the language that you're using around food? Rinse and repeat that for a few weeks and then start to look at increasing your calories from Monday to Friday. Adding in more fruit and veg, ditching the shitty skinny bars and eating proper meals that fill you up, that give you loads of energy. I really hope you found this video useful. If you have, please subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments the mistakes that you've been making and what you're now going to work on. Grab a free copy of the Basic Bitch Bible from the description and feel free to follow me on Instagram.